So good morning everybody, and they previously completed in the chapter 1 about the cells topic we can complete it, and I go to the next one of the very interesting topic in the chapter, because our life we can depend upon in these organisms only. Some organisms are useful, some organisms are harmful. So there is no microorganism, there is no life. Do you agree or not, everybody? Yes, because some organisms are useful, are they, like in the making curd, in the making dosha, idli, every food items in the preservation of the food helping of only some organisms are there. Otherwise, by preparing of antibodies and the vaccines only preparing by helping of only this type of organisms. So that's why in all the organisms that dependent and the directly or indirectly involving of some microorganisms. So today I'm discussing the topic in the one of the interesting chapter, microorganism. So in the microorganisms, the what we concept you have to learn in this chapter, let us see one by one in the what we concept you have to learn are there. So in the first, in the microorganism, you have to learn into the first synapses. In the total in this chapter, wrote in the 5 synapses are there. In the first synapses, introduction of microorganisms. What is the first one here? Introduction of microorganisms. So in this synapses one, what we have to learn are the introduction, what are microorganisms, and what is the study of microorganisms, and where the microorganisms are alive condition continuously, what are the habitat, where is the location, and what are the main shapes and size. The totally discuss about into the microorganism introduction. But all the microorganisms are same or not? How to we can observe the microorganisms? We can discuss into the in the synapses 1 to the microorganisms, and the synapses 2 in the classification of microorganisms. In the second concept in your chapter, we can learn into the classification of microorganisms. In the classification of microorganism means there are different types of microorganisms are there in the shape wise, in size wise, in the function wise, and location wise, in the reproduction wise. All are we can different. So that's why that the classified into the based upon and the similarities, dissimilarities, we can classify in the 5 different groups are there, like bacteria, fungi, protozoa, algae. In another 5th group, we already know that the affected some that only virus, that is virus group in the time virus. So how many groups are there? Bacteria, fungi, protozoa, algae, and virus. These 5 groups of the classified microorganisms. And what are the main structures of each and every group you have to learn in the lengthy topic or the years. So the total second synapses that we have to learn about 5 different groups of microorganisms of the habitation, and what are the different types are there, and what is the shape and size, and what are the cell structure about, and how the food we can occupying are there, that nutrition, and how to reproduce are there, are the useful or harmful our nature. And total these are the 5 individually the learn into each and every group. For example, bacteria is there. What we have learned in the bacteria? The bacteria, the useful or harmful. Where is the bacteria located? Habitation. And this introduction we can about in the bacteria, that means in our nature, our environment, different as a bacteria are there, like some are useful, some are harmful. And which bacteria useful, why these bacteria useful are there, and why this bacteria is harmful, inside the body what type of in the chemical we can compose it are there, that's why useful or harmful, how to we can identify the scientist. The total introduction was discussed. I mean, some bacteria grow up into the water, some bacteria grow up into the land, some bacteria grow up into the air. In the habitation we can different are there, but bacteria you can wherever you go, all the places you can available bacteria are there, but must 2 places are there is no bacteria. What are the 2 places? Just you can identify, just only think of in your mind what are the 2 places. Bacteria we can go every place are there here, but 2 places not there bacteria. What are the 2 places? Just you can think it of in your mind. I will say the answer in this, say the topic of bacteria wise. So location wise, identify the you have to learn in the bacteria how many types of bacteria are the, shape wise and size wise, and what is the structure of the bacteria, how the food we can occupying are there, all the bacteria how to we can occupying the food, and how to reproduce are they here, which bacteria useful, which bacteria we can harmful, why the harmful are they, we total discussing the topics. The all are the same like fungi, protozoa, algae, and virus. These all are we can learn into the same type of habitation and the shape and size and structure and the nutrition and reproduction. Each and every classify the group. This only we can learn out the here. So these all are we can different types of classification of microorganism in the synapses 2. And go to the next synapses 3. Like these are the bacteria or the here staphylococcus. For example wise I am giving salmonella type helicobacter. I'm asking one question about you. Which bacteria the formation of the curd formation, the milk converted to curd? Yes, you know that everybody. What is the answer? Just write down in the reflection wise. That is Lactobacillus bacteria. What is the study of bacteria? What this is in the fungi groups. You know the every mushrooms you can identify the fungus, and this algae where the green color all the substance are there, one of the group in the algae nature. And this is protozoans in the smaller group of organisms, paramecium amoeba and the diffluent radionium euglena timers of Vidhoran. And this is you everybody you know that here the in this time the more effect of only virus in the coronavirus. So this is one of the virus. The viruses are different groups are the here, and this is the classification of the here. And the next in the synapses 3, effects of microorganisms. In the synapses 3, effects of microorganisms. So how do we can affecting other microorganism wise? And the effects means here microorganisms play important role in our lives. As affects various groups of microorganisms, humans have been discussed earlier into the individual there. That means or some are useful, some are harmful are the here. Like we can go to the useful wise, making curd, cheese, and making bread formation, idli, dosha and dokla preparation, and manufacturing of alcohols and industries, and preparing of antibiotics and vaccines and immunity power, insulin preparation. These all are useful of the microorganism wise. In agriculture sector, in health sector, in our home sector, everybody some useful lot of usefuls are the here. And some diseases also causing are the here, like through the air wise and the water and the food wise, some insects wise, and some communicable disease wise, and food becomes spoiled wise, that totally become harmful are the here. Like means the effect of means some are useful are there, some are harmful wise is there. The synapses 4 here to learn that, and the synapses 5 and the synapses 4 and the food preservation methods. In ancient period to up to we can observe in this period, modern period, there are different methods of food preservations are there. Like in the pickets in your home, food preservation or not. And at the summer time, every home you can prepare the picket and the preserve into the up to 1 year up to or the year. But why are different types of curries does not preserve into the more than 1 week? They're only preserved into 1 or 2 days only fridge wise. So what method you have to follow? That are some different types of food involving different types of chemicals are there. That chemical preservation involving some methods only are there, like in the heating method is there, pasteurization method and refrigerating method, and chemical preservative method like using of salt or sugar or oil in the canning, smoking, and different types of methods are there. I will say you here totally here to learn about how the food preserved in the different methods. I mean which type of food preserved in the which method only are there. You have to learn in here in this topic. That's why useful of the home. They said your mom only hears how to preserve the food. They explain clearly yourself only. And the last the synopsis of this lesson and the nitrogen cycle. So why in this lesson we learned in the nitrogen cycle? The nitrogen is the most important element for plant growth. It present nitrogen present air and also soil also presented. Air in the 78% of nitrogen is there. Everybody know that. The 78% nitrogen how to begin the fix into the soil how to convert into the organisms to plants to animals, how to we can enter the air. That means one of the cycle process are there. The cycle process explained into the nitrogen cycle process. These all are we have learned into the topic 2 in the microorganisms. These are the 5 different synapses are there in the second chapter. What are the 5 synapses? In the first one, introduction of microorganisms, and the second one, classification of microorganisms. Here to run first one. The first one, introduction of microorganisms, and the second one, classification of microorganisms, and the third synapse in the effects of microorganisms, and the fourth synapse, food preservation techniques, and the last synapse, nitrogen cycle. The total in the second chapter you have to learn about into the only 5 synapses are there, and here all the synapses are very important synapses are there, because they all are useful into the higher studies about the you go to the intermediate of the NEET level questions. It started arising from the 8th, 9th, 10th only topics. Here only some basics are there. We can go to the higher levels. The lot of here basic and clearly we can understood. We can go to the intermediate. In the perfect you have tried in the first attempt, you have to go to the NEET rank out there. Okay, once again listen. Today we are going to discuss about the first introduction of the microorganisms. Let us see. I say the video wise, I will say the microorganisms. So in the synopsis one here, introduction of microorganisms. So introduction of microorganism means, what are the main introductions of microorganisms? So what is the meaning of microorganisms? Where the microorganisms are live continuously? There are different questions are there here. So a large number of living organisms can be seen around us, including both plants and animals. The microorganism we can see, living organism we can see, different places are there here. We can see with them naked eyes, but there is a still larger number of organisms around us and even inside our body that we cannot see with naked eyes. So which type of organism we cannot see in our eyes, that organisms is called here microorganisms. So that's why what are microorganisms are there. The what are microorganisms? Like which organism which are so small and can only be seen through the microscope are known as the microorganisms or microbes. It's clear. And which organism, I'm already saying, in our living organism we can be see around us, including both plants and animals are there. We can see some of the eyes, we cannot see some organisms are there. Which organism we cannot see there of in a throw, that organisms in the microscope only we can visible are there, that organisms is called microorganisms or microbes. These organisms have a different impact on humans. The different impact means some or we can useful, some or we can harmful, or we can attacking us the different ways. So what is the study of microorganisms? And the study of microorganisms is called microbiology. The scientist or we can deal into the microbiology, that scientist is called for microbiologist. You know that is a father of microbiology is Anthony van Leeuwenhoek, scientist are there. And this microorganism also called as microbes are there. The study of microbes is called here microbiology. After microscope invented, it was found the microorganism occurs everywhere. In fact, they make up nearly half of the total weight of living organism present on earth. You know that one of the fact. In fact, they make up nearly half of the total weight of all living organisms. The total weight of all living organisms present on the earth. So these organisms they found into the air and water, the water like in the ponds and lakes and rivers and oceans, and also soil also presented. These all organisms are, that means in also we can present in our bodies, in the plants and animals, and common in the polar regions also. There are hot deserts also. So the organisms are where we can found it every place. There is no with the hot condition, cool condition, the Himalayas, everywhere we can go, the some type of microorganisms are there. Now we can observe that some microbes live in cracks in the sea floor. In the sea floor some cracks are there. You can in these types of cracks are there. These cracks can also consisting of microorganisms are there. Some type of microorganisms survive a volcanic eruption. They can survive also live in severely and adverse conditions such as hot spring desert and snow and deep oceans. Very few other life forms can survive. They remain inactive under such condition and become active whenever favorable condition are available again. That means that different places are we can available of the microorganisms. These microorganisms we can see only by use of microscope. The microscope we can discover the robot. That means the single lens microscope discover the Robert Hooke scientists are there, but in the discover the different types of microscopes are there here. After microscope discovered, the Anthony van Leeuwenhoek, the first observed by this type of microorganisms. That's why who is the father of microorganisms? In Anthony van Leeuwenhoek is the father of microorganism. One of this scientists are the Holland scientists. There are different types of microorganisms are there. In the synopsis one ways, what we have learned are there what are microorganisms, what is the study of microorganisms, what are the other name of microorganism, the where the microorganisms are live, in the which place are there, in the different place or all the places we can available of microorganisms. So this is the introduction about the microorganisms. The next in the synopsis 2 have to continue. In the longer synopsis are the here in the classification of microorganisms wise. Thank you.